Welcome. I'm Jessica Lonnie Rich, host of Inspire You and Me. It's an inspirational show where we talk to people who are making a difference. On this episode, we have Democratic candidate for governor of Hawaii, Vicky Cayetano, and Scout executive and CEO for the Aloha Council, Boy Scouts of America, Jessie Lopez. And be sure to stay tuned for the Animal Lovers clip. We'll have all that and more, and we'll be back right after this.
5914-777. Shoot-a-wah. Who's got the best deals in Vegas around? Who's got the best job? Shoot-a-wah. Call 5914-777 today. Vacations Hawaii. Vacations Hawaii. Vacations Hawaii. Good luck, we go play. 5914-777 today. Good luck, we go play.
We are very pleased and excited to have as our special guest on the show. She is the Democratic candidate for governor. Please welcome Vicky Cayetano. Welcome, Vicky. It's so nice to see you again.
Thank you. It's been a few years since we first met, and I got to know you through VASH, which is a great program.
Yes, thank you. What an exciting announcement. You're running for governor of the state of Hawaii. What brought you to that decision?
Well, you know, I'm not a politician. If I wanted to get into politics, I would have started when I was much younger. But as someone who's built my business over the last 34 years, as a mother of 2 and grandmother now of 4, and just seeing everything around us, I have great concerns, like I think many people in this state have. And I'm not somebody who's going to just grumble about things, so I felt like I need to step up and do my part. And so I decided that I was going to run for governor to lead the state, especially during these very critical times as we get out of this pandemic.
Vicky, that is a major decision. Was there any one incident or situation that you were in, or was it multiple issues that you saw in our environment, in our country, in our state, that you felt, I'm going to do something about this?
Well, I think it's been growing over the years, like so many small businesses. It's very challenging, and the regulations seem to just keep burdening us, higher taxes. But then I think with the pandemic and the seemingly inability to have clear direction of what are we doing, where are we going, and now as a grandma of 4, I desperately want my children and grandchildren to be able to live in Hawaii. And I think we see that more and more young people are leaving our state. So think about it, Jessica. If the future of Hawaii is leaving, what kind of future bodes for us in this state?
It's very sad that many people are leaving the state of Hawaii, and I'm glad that this is one of the issues that you're very concerned about. What would you do to prevent that from happening?
Well, I think first and foremost, they're leaving because it's unaffordable to live here.
Yeah.
So we have to address affordable housing, cost of living. We need to talk about giving them opportunities outside of service industry jobs, and also the education system. All of this connects together in order to keep our future here in Hawaii.
You were the former First Lady. You had a very high position in the state, so you were in the inside of politics, even though you officially have not run for office, but it certainly must have given you tremendous insight into how to run the state of Hawaii as well.
I think it did. It certainly was a privilege to serve as First Lady. And I think you do get to see the challenges and the workings of what you need to do to get things done. But I always stayed as a business person throughout that time. And I think that gives you a different perspective that I think actually helps. It helps government to be more efficient.
Let's talk about you as a business person, because you are the president of United Laundry, and it is the state's largest laundry in Hawaii. And how many years ago did you start it, and what is your secret to success? Because Vicky, as you know, a lot of small businesses, they go out of business. So what is your secret?
Well, we started 34 years ago with 25 employees, and we've grown over the years. We now have 5 facilities on 3 islands.
Amazing.
But I think really the credit goes to the management team and all the hardworking employees.
When you were growing up, you're one of 9 children. And you and your sister Jenny, a child prodigy, you were in a movie with Elvis Presley. It happened at the World's Fair when you were a little girl. What was that like?
That's right. That was really quite the experience. So I was born in Manila, but my family's Chinese, and we immigrated to this country. We came on the coattails of my sister, who was a child prodigy discovered by Ed Sullivan. And what was supposed to be a few months here ended up to be really the privilege of a lifetime to live in this great country. And then through that, I did get a role with Elvis Presley in 1962 called It Happened at the World's Fair. And it was centered around the Seattle World's Fair. What an experience to act and work with the king.
Do you remember that? Because it seems like that was a while ago, but was it exciting for you as a child? I mean, what an amazing life you have.
You know, I actually think that looking back, I appreciate it much more. But I do remember it. I just remember how kind he was, and that he paid attention even to little old me at 6.5 years old.
That is wonderful. Do you know how many kids would have loved to be in your shoes, Vicky?
So speaking of kids, you know, actually Kurt Russell got his debut on that show, and he was probably about 10 years old, the actor. And, you know, as we know, he went on to become an actor all the way till now. And I remember working with him and his enthusiasm about, you know, being on that set. And he actually had a very small role, but he was really excited and telling me and my stand-in, I'm going to be an actor when I get out.
So let's fast forward a little bit to your life as a teenager, and then how did you get to Hawaii? So
I came here to Hawaii really through marriage, and unfortunately it didn't work out, but I'm very blessed to have 2 beautiful children, Marissa and William, and they live in Hawaii, and they each have 2 children, so I'm blessed now with 4 grandkids, ages 2 to 7 years old.
Vicky, do you have any stories from your parents that you are passing along to your children?
Well, I can think of one that my father said to me, and he would always say to me that, Vicky, you will succeed in spite of, not because of. And he said, in spite of the fact that you are a woman, you're of color, and you are short. I was like, wow, this is really inspiring, thank you. And I've always been the shortest in my family. So I think that's a message I want to share with my grandchildren, that, you know, you will succeed no matter what. You have to have that determination and resiliency.
I love that story because I'm short too. Thank goodness for heels.
You're taller than me.
You have so much experience in your business, in political life. I asked you earlier, and I'm going to ask you again, what is your secret to success?
I've been really blessed, you know, been surrounded by good people. I live in this state that I love, and it's been really good to me, you know, so it's my turn to do more. And I will say that even after we came out of Washington Place, we've continued to be active in the community, whether it's supporting the Hawaiian Humane Society, rebuilding the symphony with Paul Kosasa and a great board. You know, it went into bankruptcy. And for Paul and I, we said, we just can't not have music in our community. It's not about just going to concerts. Not having musicians in our community would have meant not being able to give our children music education, not having music in this place. And that's very important for our young people. I want to govern a state where people don't just survive, but they can thrive. That's what I want.
You mentioned the Hawaiian Humane Society. What a lot of people don't know about you, your sister was on the show, and I know she loves animals, but I understand you love animals as well.
Oh yes, you know, we have currently 6 of our own and fostering 3. But I give Jenny a lot of credit because she adopts those that nobody wants. The blind, the deaf, those with dementia. I give her a lot
Aw,
of credit.
yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yep, and they're the ones who don't have a voice to speak for themselves. So like children, like them, the kapuna, those are the ones in particular that we really need to take care of.
Is there anything else about you that you'd like us to know that we haven't already covered today?
That I love to wash cars. That's my therapy.
You can come and wash mine.
Bring your car up.
Just kidding.
No, and I think just a little bit of my style, you know, in leading people. When you asked earlier, I think there are many keys to success, including just having the right people around you. But I think having clarity in what you need to do, being decisive, leading by communication, collaboration, bringing people to the table, that's really important. I think we need to bring all these stakeholders, nonprofits, you know, the private sector, the unions, legislators, bringing everybody together to be at the table and then moving, paddling in the same direction so that we can make this better for our people.
In closing, the name of our show is Inspire You and Me. Vicky Cayetano, what inspires you?
Inspiring me is my grandmother, who I remember when I was asking her about her bound feet that prevented her from even walking independently. And how in the world did she raise 10 children without, my grandfather died, you know, from TB. And I said, how did you do it? Think about it. The next generation, my father, he was not only able to succeed, but thrive, and then to produce us and give us all these opportunities. So I asked her, you know, how did you do this and how did you manage with bound feet? She said, you know, I must have been about 5 or 6 when they were breaking the bones in my feet. And I said to myself, they can break my bones, but they can never break my spirit. That has inspired me all my life.
Vicky, thank you so much for, first of all, sharing that beautiful story, and also for being the amazing, wonderful, successful, giving, caring, and I can go on, person that you are. I wish you the very best, and thank you for contributing so much to our community.
Thank you for all you do, Jessica.
Battery Bill, providing power when and where you need it. It's a new dawn. We provide portable power, solar generators, and power stations. We harness the sun. Goal Zero keeps your gear charged and ready. A safe, reliable backup. Jackery, when active lifestyles require outdoor power solutions. Power for whatever you do, wherever you go. Light years ahead, keeping Hawaii charged up and using the force. Battery Bill.
The law firm of Cronin Freed is proud to sponsor Inspire You and Me, a show about people in our community who are making a difference. I'm Rick Freed, and our law firm of 16 attorneys handles major injury cases, choosing to devote our considerable talent and staff to those injured people and victims for whom we can make a great difference. We hope that you will be inspired to follow your dreams and find your purpose.
We are really happy and pleased to welcome back a special friend of Inspire You and Me. He is the Scout Executive and CEO for the Aloha Council of the Boy Scouts of America. Please welcome back Jesse Lopez. Hey Jesse, it's always good seeing you again.
Thank you for having me, Jessica. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we love the Boy Scouts and we want to do everything we can to support them and continue the message. So for those people who aren't familiar with the message of the Boy Scouts, what is the mission?
Well, our mission is to instill lifelong values in our youth. And the challenge is teaching them in a way that they become internalized by the young men and young ladies. So our hope is that they become good adults down the road. And so that's the basic part of it, is just instilling values that help develop character, leadership, and service to the community.
And you have an amazing anniversary this year. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Sure, we're blessed to have started in 1910, so this year's our 111th year here.
You look a day over 30.
Oh, okay, well, thank you. So it's our 111th year here in the state of Hawaii. And so we're very honored to have been part of the community for that duration. A lot of our current scouts are second and third generation Scouts, and so we're very honored to have been a part of the state for 111 years, and here's to another 111 more years.
That is awesome. And in addition to some of the characteristics that you treat them, the many skills that you have, can you share with them about some of those skills?
Sure. There's soft skills we talked about: leadership, service back to the community. Then there's some hard skills like starting fires controlling fires, starting a fire with rubbing two sticks together and putting together first aid kits, that kind of stuff. One interesting story, if I may, we had this come across our radar the other day. So there was a group of Scouts that were going to go hiking, and they were set to go early morning, and then one of the Scouts had to pull out because he had a school function that he had committed to. So he said, I can't go on the hike, but maybe I'll go later in the day. So he pulled out, and he did a school function, and then he did the hike later in the day. So him and his mom went out, and as they were doing their hike, they came across two lost hikers.
My goodness.
And their dog. And so they were a little disoriented, didn't know where they were at, and they were almost out of water, and it was starting to get dark. So they came across the Scout and the mom, and so the Scout asked them if they needed assistance. And they said, here's our situation. So the Scout said, okay, well, I can get you guys out, so let's go. So he led them out of their predicament, but along the way, the dog pooped out.
Oh no.
I guess they had been lost for so long that the dog had bloody paws and was probably dehydrated because it's a big dog.
Yeah.
And so the Scout, remembering his training, said, I know what we can do. So they found two sticks. They took off jackets or shirts, and they created a stretcher.
Amazing.
So they put the dog on the stretcher.
Wow.
And they stretched the dog out of the predicament. So stuff like that where...
Great story.
So stuff like that where there is no manual, there is no, what do I do, right? It was almost like, here's what I'm going to do. And he developed a plan, organized the group, right? Here's you get that, you get that, you get that, put it all together, and he escorted the hikers and their dog out of the challenging situation.
What a great story. And he rescued them, and he rescued the dog. He's like the MacGyver of Boy Scouts.
The Boy Scouting. So we've shared this story with the news outlets. So hopefully they'll do a story on this young man, because a couple of things resonated with me. One, he told the group he was going to go on the hike, and then he had to back out. But he told them he was going to do it, so then he went and did it, as opposed to, it's late in the day, I'll just play video games the rest of the day. So he went out and did it. He encountered a situation where he kind of saw that there was trouble, right? And he approached and asked, and they took the offer, and he helped them out. It exemplifies what we're teaching, and more importantly, that they're able to internalize that and utilize it to someone's benefit.
Amazing. And how's the dog, by the way?
I don't know, but I bet he's happy. He's happy to not be lost, and probably, I'm sure first thing he did was swallow up a lot of water, because when I was told there was a big dog, and around here it gets pretty warm, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the people too. We want to make sure the people are okay. But thank you. I love that story. Now you have some other people, some well-known people who have also gone through the Scouts. Can you share with us about that, Jesse?
Sure. So locally we've got Manti Te'o was a Scout here in the state of Hawaii, and he went on to get his rank of Eagle and became prolific in college football. Shane Victorino, baseball player, won I think 2 World Series rings. And
you told me before this interview that you're going to be off to camp today.
That's where I'm headed, yeah.
So camp is one of the many programs that you have at the Boy Scouts. Tell us a little bit more about that and then a few more.
Oh, sure. So usually we offer a week-long experience at our summer camps. So they'll check in and get assigned a bunk and kind of get ready for the week. Within the week, they'll be able to do various learning skills that will allow them to learn some different traits that they can incorporate into scouting. They'll do marksmanship training with bows and arrows and 22s and such. And then they'll do maybe a first aid experience where they'll learn some first aid skills. Maybe they'll learn a cooking skill. So the week-long experience is one of the major aspects of our program.
The Scouts are known for having a number of merit badges, accomplishments throughout the way. Is there a new one?
Yes, there is. We just introduced a new merit badge called Citizenship and Society. And the intent of that merit badge is to talk about diversity, inclusion, and equity. And with the social challenges that we face today, where we're trying to eliminate some of these prejudices that exist in our society, it's the intent of the Boy Scouts to be able to start teaching that at a young age. So diversity, inclusion, and equity. And I think it's a very important topic. It is so important to the Boy Scouts that is now required for a Scout to earn that merit badge to obtain the rank of Eagle. And so the rank of Eagle is the highest rank that a Scout can earn. There were 21 merit badges that they needed to earn to get Eagle, first aid, swimming, so some very important stuff. And now we've felt so compelled with the challenges that our society is facing and how we need to move beyond that we've now said that this one is also required for Eagle.
What do you feel is the greatest lesson that the Scouts learn?
Maybe it's a cliche, but I think there's a concept of paying it forward. And whether it's a leader that's devoting their time to run a meeting, a leader that's devoting their time to take them camping, whatever the situation or circumstance around that, someone providing time and service to that young individual, I think it carries a lot of residual because later on in life, they'll feel like they would want to reciprocate and do that for the next generation. And I think as human beings, that's something we all need. If we're selfish and we just think about ourselves and we just don't worry about what's behind us, at some point, that's all that's left is yourself. There's no one coming up behind you. So I think that's, to me, there's a lot of stuff, but I think,
of course.
But I think that pay it forward,
Yeah.
I think that's somewhere in the core of what we do.
Well, Jesse, in closing, the name of our show is Inspire You and Me. Jesse Lopez, what inspires you?
Most recently, what inspired me was I was up at camp and we were running some marksmanship training with our bows and arrows. And there was one young man that I was watching, and if you've ever fired a bow and arrow, it's kind of challenging. It takes a lot of coordination. I mean, I could barely do it. And so he's about 10, 11 years old, so he's trying to get it to fly forward. So first one went that way, second one went that way, third one went. So he had his last arrow, and it actually went forward, didn't hit the target, but the smile on this kid's face, just because it went forward, was worth $1 million. And that inspired me because what went through my thinking process was, no matter all these challenges and lack of cooperation by the bow, by the arrow, by the wind, whatever thing you wanted to blame, just his persistence. And that one shot out of 4 was golden. And, in life, what else can you ask for, right?
Exactly. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for being a guest on Inspire You and Me. I wish you continued success with the Scouts.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here. And do have us back again. I've got more stories.
Sharing happiness is always important, especially now. And the spirit of Aloha has never been more vital than it is today. At Watanabe Floral, like everyone else, we've made adjustments. But our commitment to the spirit of Aloha and keeping people first has never been stronger. we remain focused on being involved in our community, protecting our environment, and sharing happiness and joy with all our guests. Watanabe Floral, bringing happiness to you.
Changing from dry cleaning to wet cleaning technology just really made sense for us. It uses less chemicals, less water, and overall less energy. The clothes come out fresher and cleaner. And if you have sensitive skin, it's a great alternative to dry cleaning. We can actually clean any garment that can be dry cleaned, whether it's cashmere, silk, wedding gowns, pretty much anything that can be dry cleaned can be wet cleaned. It's better for the environment, it's better for the people, and that's what we want our service to be. Aloha Dry Cleaners and Laundry. Pickup, delivery, and rush service available. Call today.
We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Inspire You and Me. I'm going to leave you with a rich thought for the day. Do you know anyone who has an inspiring story? Or do you have an inspiring story to tell? We'd like you to join us and come to our website at inspireyouandme.tv. We'd love to hear from you. Until we meet again, I'm Jessica Lonnie Rich. Take care.
It's a beautiful world. I like surfing Waikiki. I like to paddle out beyond the white breakers, where a man can still be free, or a woman if you are one. Yes, I do like surfing Waikiki. My, it's a beautiful world. My, it's a beautiful world. Oh, my, it's a beautiful world. My, it's a beautiful world.
The hardest thing in life is letting go of a loved one. Finding the right provider can be essential in your time of need. Celebrate your loved one with Ballard Family Mortuaries. We offer a full range of cremation and burial services on Oahu, Maui, Hilo, and Kona, with professional guidance and specialized attention you can trust at the most affordable cost. Call us today for a free consultation on funeral service options available to you and your family. Ballard Family Mortuary Group, serving Hawaii since 1997.